I got it mounted in the box, and I'm just kind of checking the fit here before I do the fabric wrap and screw it down. Alright, so we finished cutting. That's what we got. A lot more room up here, coming in and out now. I'm not totally happy with it, but it's going to get some trim on it. It's going to be fabric covered, so it'll look okay. Okay, I'm working on the Lazy Susan thing that goes underneath my stereo, and I'm working on the layout of the locking mechanism. Very faint pencil lines are in the upholstery here that are perpendicular to each of the positions for the passenger and the driver. Perhaps you can see them. And I put some layout blue on the Lazy Susan itself, so that I can scratch some reference lines in it for me to be able to drill some indexing holes. Now, since my last video, I've been through a few iterations and mulling over the design of the locking mechanism, and I think I finally landed on something that I like. I'll explain that here in a little bit. Dead simple, hopefully will work quite well. So yeah, this is Dykem layout blue. This is some stuff that machinists use. I was taught about this by my dad, and basically I gotta scratch some lines in here, but it is the inverse, or it's the reverse of this. So because this is where I want it to lock, you know, on this one side, but since it rotates into that position, I actually need to flip it over when I make the final marks. So, yep, here we go. So I scratched some lines on there and flipped it over. This is the underside. I use a TIG tungsten sharpened to a nice sharp point there. And what I need to do is transfer those to the inside edge here and drill a hole. I'm actually going to have 3 holes here for a locking mechanism to index into from the inside of this ring, which is the part that turns. So yeah, we're expecting triple-digit temps today, and I'm out in the shop trying to get as much done before it gets intolerable out here. I've been thinking about this locking mechanism for several days, and I've had a few false starts on it. Originally, I had a plate that was secured, you know, through one of these holes, and it had a punch in it, and it indexed into some of these holes here. I thought about doing magnets, and that's you know, that would work, but it would only allow me 2 positions, not 3, because of the size of things and the way that it would have to fit in there. I was originally spending, you know, too much time thinking about fitting it in between the 1/4 inch of space that I have between the feet on this, and then I realized I've got all this space in the middle that's unused, and so my indexing mechanism is going to be in the middle here, and I'm going to have 3 holes here that I've accurately laid out with machinist tools, and I've punched the center of these holes to give a drill someplace to start, and I'll show you the locking mechanism here in a sec. So the thanks goes out to my good buddy Mike Siebert for coming up with this locking mechanism for me. This is a piece of copper tubing with a spring and a ball bearing, and it's mashed down on this end here where I'm going to drill a couple holes to secure it. But you know, this is the exploded view, as you can see. I had to flare this out a little bit. I had to press the ball in there, and then I had to ream it out to 5/16 pretty accurately. You could use a drill bit. I used an end mill, got it in there really precisely. I had to mess around with the depth of this crimp because this is setting, you know, the length of the spring or the compression of the spring. I made the mistake of, you know, crimping the ball in here. So once I had this secured where I thought I wanted it, I gave the end a little punch here, and it kind of holds the ball in nicely so it doesn't come out like this. But I need to leave it disassembled for the moment so that I can get this tension correct on here. But basically, you know, this is gonna push up against a countersunk hole here in each of these, you know, index locations. There'll be one in each of these three positions: one there, there, and there. And then this will be screwed down, obviously, you know, pointing this way. So as the thing rotates, you know, the inner edge, the inner side of this is the part that rotates. So as it rotates here, it'll lock. Rotates the middle, it'll lock, and as it rotates the other direction, it'll lock. I've got these taped so they don't spin on me right now, so I could lay it out, you know. But yeah, so that's the gist of it. I got to drill these holes now. I got them laid out. Probably worth mentioning that I'm using this style of lag to secure the Lazy Susan to the dashboard. You know, it's a wood screw on one side and a machine screw on the other side. So that's what those little studs look like installed in the dash. And there's a little rubber foot under each one to give it clearance so that the ring can rotate on the inside. To install those, you just double nut them. You know, 2 nuts tightened up, and then you can just run them down in there with I use a drill with a socket adapter. Alright, so I've got this installed here and just kind of testing out the mechanism. Seems to work. See how it indexes there? I think I'd like it to be a little tighter, a little stronger, but it is working. So I could pull that off of there and make that spring be more compressed. Might be a good idea. Or I could make the indentations perhaps a little deeper. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, I doubled up those springs in there and it's a lot tighter now. Locks in good. So I think that's going to work. Pretty happy with that. We'll just have to see how it works going down the road holding the stereo. Okay, today is tomorrow. This has been a multi-day project working on this thing. It's going to be another scorcher today. They're saying it's going to be 102 degrees. I'm inside the shop, so I'm in the shade, but boy, it still gets hot in here. I've got air conditioning in the bus, but a lot of what I'm doing is, you know, out on the workbench. when I run the AC, it makes the shop hotter, you know, so I generally don't run it unless I really have to. But yeah, I mean, today I should be able to get this thing in and working, hopefully. You know, the wiring's pretty much done. I got a lot of tidying up to do there, but the stereo cabinet is ready to go in. I figured out all the little details involved with that. So yeah, with any luck here, I'll be able to provide an overview of that today. Well, I'm in the process of tidying up these wires here. I'm bundling them up and going to put them in a wire loom. Should look alright. We'll see here. Finished product soon. Okay, I'm checking out the stereo here. Got it hooked up, powered up. I've got the split screen going right now with the navigation on one side and Spotify on the other. It's got the 3 positions. There's camping, and that's for the passenger. If the passenger wants to control something. I have my gauges in here, although the gauges are not done yet. I've got just an earlier version loaded on here that I was working on, but I'll show you what that looks like. So there's that. They're not hooked up right now. The sender's off, but that's what that looks like. You know, it's also got it's got the ability to play movies, and the video quality is pretty good. Not that I would watch a movie going down the road, just, you know, it's HD. Yeah, so it's like, wow. There's a preview on here, the video. I don't think I'll get in trouble on YouTube for having a preview on here that's free for anybody to watch. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the functionality. I got some more work to do down here. I'm going to be, you know, putting in this cabinet down here, and I've got to trim this out with the oak down here. I'm going to have a USB plug here for the driver and one for the passenger in this cabinet that goes down here, as well as some fuses and stuff. But that's, you know, that's the progress today. It's been a pretty long haul getting to this point. Oh yeah, it's got phone and all that crap in it too. There's I put a little microphone back here. It's got a microphone. So yeah, I mean, if you want to take calls, you can. That's not my focus, but yeah. Let's see, where's my real dash? There we go.